All right, now that I'm ready to install the new exhaust, I figured this was a great opportunity to go ahead and weigh the parts that I removed and weigh the parts that I'm going to install. So these are all the parts that came off the bike and will not go back on the bike. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the NINJAof1 YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to install the Graves full system titanium carbon fiber exhaust. But before we do that, we've got to remove the stock exhaust. So let me show you the parts and some of the tools used to do this. And here's all the parts. We have the Graves full system titanium carbon fiber exhaust. And I got some brand new head gaskets for it. Of course, it came with the springs. We have some rubbing alcohol and microfiber towels to help clean off any oil residue and fingerprints. We have the service manual. We have the instructions, which will be in the description, and also on the NINJAof1 Google Drive for viewing or downloading online. All right, we got this big zip tie here. We're using that to kind of hold the radiator forward. And we're going to attach that lower portion to the front wheel. You'll see that in the video. We have some coolant. We are a little bit low in the reservoir, so I'm going to top that off. Got an X-Acto knife to straighten out any fins I might bump into. We have a 3/8 and 1/4 inch ratchet with extensions. And then on the socket side, we have a 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and a 12 millimeter deep well, along with a 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter, and then a 5 and 6 millimeter hex. We have a 10, 13, 14, and 17 millimeter wrench, needle nose pliers, foot-pound torque wrench. And of course, these are all the other tools that we've been using in the build series. So with that said, let's get busy. right, now that I'm ready to install the new exhaust, I figured this was a great opportunity to go ahead and weigh the parts that I removed and weigh the parts that I'm going to install. So these are all the parts that came off the bike and will not go back on the bike. And then over here I have a scale. I have a box on it right now. It probably weighs about a pound. It's not even registering. And then of course over here I have the exhaust. Now one thing I want to point out is that this exhaust comes assembled like you see it right here, and then it's wrapped up. A good point to kind of keep you straight here is that all these hook points will be facing the outside, right and left. All right, so this is the left headers here, and then this is the right headers. All right, and then this collector here will have the hooking points facing upward towards the oil pan. And then of course there's the 7 remaining clamp springs and the nut and the pipe itself. I'm also going to weigh the batteries along with it, just to get a comparison. And of course this is the acid still packed and the battery still sealed, so it's negligible, maybe a few ounces here and there, no big deal. So let me set you up. Okay, so here are all the parts in the box. I didn't need the towel, I had enough room. I didn't want to scratch anything, but there you see the stock battery still sealed. You got the lead acid with the box on, with the box. And then we have the full exhaust with the flanges and the cat. And then we have the resonator collector box, whatever you want to call it. And then we have the shields with the muffler and the 2 cables that went to the exhaust servo motor. And then we have the exhaust servo motor and the pair valves. So altogether it comes to 34.6 pounds. I would say a pound off for the box, and that puts us right at 33.6, or just rounded up 34 pounds. All right, so let's weigh the new stuff. All right, here are all the parts, and if you look, I got 11.4 pounds, and these are all the parts that will be on the bike. All right, now that we know that this is the 34.6 and this is 11.4, then we do the math and it comes to 23.2, and then we take a pound off for the box. That's 22.2 pounds we're taking off the bike. All right, I thought I'd do a quick walk around and kind of show you how I got the radiator propped. And you see I got the hose pulled out here on this side, and then I have the hose pulled out on this side here, and that gave me a little bit of room after removing those 2 bolts on top and the one on the bottom right there where that bracket is. All right, so I'm going to show you the parts, how I have them laid out and how I'm going to install them. So I have some grease here to put on the flat side of the gaskets, and I have those facing upward. Then I have the 4 nuts to hold the header and 2 springs for the actual header itself. And there's a little bitty pinhole. If you look close to the flange, there's a pinhole in 4 locations on that flange, and that'll allow me to put the clamp spring on that that hook there, and then on the flange itself when it's installed with the nut. And if you look at the headers here, they come assembled just like this. I mentioned this earlier, and the hooks are facing out. So this is the way it's going to be installed into the header port. And then of course I have a rag here to clean the grease off my hands before I touch the pipe and mount it. And then over here on this side I have the right headers, and you see the hooks are facing out on both the top of the headers and the bottom. And we have the collector here, and those hooks are facing upwards, and the O2 sensor will be on the left top when it's installed. And then we have the associated clamp springs, the exhaust, the original bolt, and then the nut that came with the Graves exhaust. And then I have the tools I need to put all this together. So there you go. That's where I'm at. And we're going to go ahead and get started on the right, we're going to connect the rectifier before we start it up. I had taken this off the inner fairing because it was a little hard to pull on it. I didn't want to damage it, but once I got it off, I went ahead and disconnected it so it wouldn't be hanging and banging everywhere. So we're going to connect it before the startup. All right, just set it right here, and then I also removed the zip tie and the towel, and we just got the radiator hanging on the hose right now, so no big deal. All right, here she is. We're going to do the first warm-up before we torque the header bolts again. So let's start it up. right, here she is back in the garage, all buttoned up after that first start, after putting on the exhaust. And I went ahead and put the radiator back in place. You'll see that in the video here, but everything is in shape. Went ahead and topped off the oil. Made sure the oil was properly filled and made sure the radiator was filled. And we're in good shape. Everything looks good. Man, this muffler looks really good. The exhaust, the whole thing just looks awesome. And I'm really excited about taking it to Chris Moore at Moore Mafia and having him tune it. So what we have next is to put on the fairings, which will be time-lapse and also include instructions. And I'm going to go ahead and take off these brackets and put the screws in that I got, and that's these screws right here. They look really nice. I'll put some Loctite on it and then put them in place with the foot peg bracket. But other than that, we're in really good shape with the bike here. No issues. Everything started up fine. Do have that error code, so stand by for the next one.